Yeah, so undeserving, and yet we worship, giving all the praise. Just humble servants, till sweat and tears, till no more fears. Singing the glory of this dust, but you covered me by your blood, yeah. You covered me with grace, and a love so unconditional, it's got me on my face every day, yeah. Be the praise of the saints, yeah. Goes my praise every day, My God is stronger than any sin that I hold. More precious than any silver and gold. Yeah. Told myself that my sin made me unworthy, but truth is I'll never be perfect. But Christ took the burden, took the lust of my eyes, pride of my heart, aches and all the flaws. Nailed them to the cross, threw them to the ocean. Showed me I was chosen. Shifted all my focus till my eyes became open. Tossed out my doubts. Showed me my way out. See, I once was lost. Now your boy been found. See, true grace abounds, and glory be to God. It ain't no looking back like a pillar of that salt. Me, I give my all, despite my downfalls. Where many see me fail, only you see me prevail. The bigger depression hits, the louder my praise gets. The bigger depression hits, the louder my praise gets. Come on.
When I lift my voice, heaven comes to earth. When I sing this song, I feel you respond. When I lift my voice, heaven comes to earth. When I sing this song, I feel you respond. 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 If the drum stops beating, my soul will keep on singing. Even louder, even louder. Even when my eyes can't see, I'll sing till I believe it. Even louder, even louder. Even when the drum stops beating, my soul will keep on singing. Even louder, even louder. Even when my eyes can't see, I'll sing till I believe it. Even louder, even louder.
Hello, Fair Creek. Everybody say hi to John. Yeah?
Yep.
Charcoal?
No, gas.
Gas. Okay.
Yep.
I'm down with that. I'm cool.
It's easier.
Oh, my word.
Less
sweat.
time consuming.
I know. Especially getting home at, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then have to wait
Yep.
for the charcoal to heat up.
Yep.
Gotcha. Man, thanks for doing those scavenger hunt pictures. That was a lot of fun. We got a ton. We're actually going to draw a grand prize winner. Mary Joyce and I have gone extensively all over the Dayton area looking for the perfect prizes to put in this gift box. Okay, no, we haven't. We went to one store
There you
and
go.
loaded up.
There's
So-
some good stuff though in there.
Oh, my
I saw
word.
it.
Wow. Yeah.
I would want it.
My kids were like, "Where's ours?" I'm like, "Ha ha, you don't get any." Anyways, tonight we're going to be talking about a new series called Atypical. And I want you to think about your family or the household that you're living in right now. What does atypical family look like? And what does a normal family look like? So how would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? How normal is your family? John, how normal is your family?
Is 10 normal or 1 normal?
Oh, 10 is like gold star.
Okay.
1 is like, called it,
I would say a 6.5.
oh, now we're going with halves. A 6.5273. Oh.
We're average. Some weirdness in there.
Oh, there's a lot of weirdness in there. We've got one that just, she's crazy. But I'm not going to say any names, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lydia. Yeah. Mary Joyce, how would you rate our family on a scale of 1 to 10?
What is normal?
Exactly. Is our family normal or not normal?
You're in our family. How can we be normal?
Good question. So what would you rate it?
5.
5. Ooh, you're doing well.
We're doing a little better than you guys.
Yeah, you are. I would have said a 6. I don't know. I'm kind of going with John 6.5. Oh, that's
We're not a 7 yet.
What determines a 7?
I don't know.
Okay. Like, oh, well, my son can cook and clean, so therefore we're at the 7 level. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of an interesting question to ask. You know, what is normal? Like, in this day and age, nothing's normal. But
Yeah.
I think that's kind of interesting. But I want to hear how you guys. Now, I see some 5s out there. Ooh, a couple 4s. People are like,
Ooh, a -3?
oh.
Okay.
If you want to talk to us afterwards tonight, we'll do some side counseling. I'm at a -3. I've fallen off the scale. Everything is dead. If that's the case, I'm sorry. I'm not making fun of you. Oh, somebody said a 2,000.
There you go.
Wow. Okay. So that person there, they're a 1547 minus 10. Is that like a 1537? Wow.
There's
Coolness.
I think the average is around 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. That seems to be the mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some good answers there. That's what we're going to look at tonight. How can we identify families, or how do we look at families now? Because things have changed quite a bit. Of course, we're in this little, whatever you want to call it now, of not going to school and some people going to work crazily, and then some people, you're stuck at your house.
Stuck doing work at home.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Mary Joyce, I did offer John our basement to work in.
Yeah.
So now that I'm not down there, you have a place.
There you go.
Anyways, if you were to describe your family in, let's say, like a TV family, what TV family would describe your family? So, Mary Joyce, I'm throwing it to you first. What TV family would describe you? And she's probably got to struggle with that one. But
I mean, I would struggle with it. I don't watch that much TV.
none?
None.
Wow.
Some shows here and there.
See, I would say we're kind of Big Bang Theory-esque. We're weird.
Will Smith, what's the show?
Fresh
Fresh
Prince?
Princess. Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
Because
baby.
of my moves. You know.
There you go.
Me, Adrian, and April, we can
Oh, my
throw down
word.
some moves.
Adrian, he gets into his music.
Yep.
I've been enjoying listening to him sing recently. So,
Oh, he's singing "Let It Go" all day long.
how about you guys? I see Family Matters, okay, by the Bates. Adam's Family, right
Yeah.
on. Somebody said they don't watch much.
Cheaper by the dozen.
Oh, I don't watch TV. I don't believe it's healthy to my. Oh wait,
What about some movies? I mean, movie
Ooh.
families.
Terminator.
Terminator.
Yeah.
I'm more like the Avengers.
Oh, that's a good one. I'll be back. I just like to say that or something Arnold-esque. Get to the chopper. Yeah, what movie would you be? Mary Joyce, would you be like, I'm Wonder Woman? I'm teaching my kid math. Something like that, or ooh, Lydia Climby said, "Girl Meets World."
Ooh.
That's interesting. Nice. Oh, Chloe gives her a high five on that one. So, is there one about a girl and two cats? I really want to make a crack right there, but I've heard
What
about
is
the
that
crazy
movie?
old lady.
The old show with a witch that
Bewitched?
with a nose and the cat, the black cat.
Was there a cat in it? I don't remember the cat.
There's a black cat. in it.
Bewitched or I Dream of Jeannie? Which one is it?
I don't know.
Oh my word. So what do we got? Incredibles, that's a good one. He cleaned it up after the first one of the Addams Family, so he had to redeem himself. Hocus Pocus. Nice, Haley. Shay, Sabrina. Ooh. Was that a chick
I
flick?
think it was a show that I'm talking about.
Sabrina was the teenage Jesus.
Sabrina.
Yeah, that was
oh, that one.
Thank you,
Wow.
Shay.
We just went totally different generation there. Wow. Anyways, coolness. Home Alone.
What was less children? Okay.
Oh, Gilligan's Island. I could see that with him. Nice. Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight and for the next few weeks. We're going to talk about what is a typical family or what is atypical. So much we hear about, everybody striving to be this normal family, but what is normal? I don't know that we can even define what a normal family looks like anymore because there's so much out there.
A lot of weirdness out there, too.
There is a lot of weirdness. And I think that goes into our whole atypical theme.
Yes.
I mean, oh my word, I live in that one. But that's what I want us to think about tonight is what can God use? Do you have to be normal to be used of God? You got to be perfect or have yourself all cleaned up and together and wearing the right shirt and having the right outfit. Of course, for some guys it'd be like the perfect pair of shoes because these sneaker boys. But what's normal? Is there a normal?
I don't know.
Okay, well,
We're
that's
gonna
what we're
find
going to look at tonight. But I want to take a little break because there's something that we really need to celebrate. There's a lot of good things that are happening right now. And as I started looking at things, I'm like, man, I could fill up the whole hour with just talking about some really good things that are going on. And I wanted to share those with you because there's some good news happening, people. So let's start with this first one. Let's go to Houston, Texas. There are some boys. They're actually Jewish brothers, and they are collecting face masks for the homeless in Houston. I love that. I believe their names are the Kippas, and they are going to the rescue. They are going to collect face masks for those who are impoverished or who are out on the street. So I just love that these young men are like, hey, you know what? We found something that we can help people with, and we're going to do that. That is an atypical family.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I love that one. How about another one, John? I'm going to flip those things up because they're creating some weird things around my head. But this one is kind of personal to me. I love the beach. Mary Joyce loves the beach. Our kids love the beach.
All right.
And we go camping in Michigan, and they're like, that's not a beach. A lake is not the same as the ocean. So we've been to crawl out of their shell, and they will head towards the light.
So you seen this live?
We have helped this process
What?
happen. Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yes. So you couldn't use the light on your phone because they would travel towards you because I guess in their makeup they are created to go towards the moonlight. So as the
Oh.
moon is over the ocean, they travel towards the moon.
That's pretty
So
cool.
yeah, we learned that when we were down on the beach a number of years ago, and it was cool. So we had to turn the red light on our phone on, which I didn't even know that we had a red light, and we would like not step on them either because they're just little 2.5-inch, 3-inch little creatures, and it was cool. We created a trench, and they just went right down and then into the water.
That's pretty cool.
So this is a cool one for me. I really love the fact that these sea turtles, but beaches are seeing an increase in these leatherback sea turtle nests because of the travel restrictions. People aren't on the beach, so the turtles are like, "Hey, free beach, we can use it now." So I just think that's exciting to watch these little turtle creatures emerge from the land and
Yeah.
do something really cool. So
Little fighters.
they are. So of course they say of. I can't remember what the big ones are, Mary Joyce. What are they called?
What?
Turtles.
Sea turtle?
Loggerbacks. Loggerheads.
You did the leatherback in your
Yes, the loggerheads, their survival rate is like ridiculous. Like just a few out of a picture like that will survive.
Wow.
Eaten by sharks and bugs and this, that, and the other in the ocean.
Bugs?
I don't know if there's bugs in the ocean, but hey,
Okay.
whatever's out there, they get eaten. But anyways, let's keep going because I'm excited about turtles. How about this? A young man, a Boy Scout, decides to use his 3D printer to make hundreds of devices to take the pain away from behind the ears of healthcare workers, of doctors, nurses, admin, in hospitals and clinics everywhere. Came up with this, or he took this idea that somebody had and started printing them for his local healthcare workers. Is that not an ingenious thing? That is.
That's awesome.
That's
way
like-
to step up to the plate.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a number 10 on
Yep.
on the quality scale, but that's really cool just to see. You know what? We as a country have done some really cool things that maybe like society 6 months ago be like, oh, this generation of kids, they're blah rah rah rah. But we're really seeing some really cool activity going on, and I just want to encourage you as students, take advantage. If you've got something that you could do, make it happen. Or talk to your small group leader, or talk to John, because he's fully resourced and able to help you execute those plans. And you got plenty of time, right?
Yep. Oh, all the time.
Because you're just sitting in your basement not
Yep.
doing anything.
Speaking of Boy Scouts, the Worleys, the younger sibling from the Worleys, just
Luke.
stepped up to the next Boy Scout level, I guess.
The rank.
Yep.
Yep.
Right. I saw them. They had a little ceremony outside my house on the bridge the Boy Scouts built.
Oh, they built that bridge.
I think so.
Nice.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Hey, I believe you. I believe about anything right now. Well, I think it was Luke, we salute you.
congrats.
Yes. Way to go, man. Boy Scouts are just awesome. That's all there is to
Yep.
it. So, coolness. That's some good news that we have. Just wanted to share that with you because we want you to be encouraged not only by our silliness and our goofiness, but also just by what's going on around the country. That it's not just isolated to one or two superheroes like your Avengers, but it's happening all over the place. And don't be afraid to step out and do that same thing for you. So, yeah. But atypical families can be used for others. God is wanting to use them because He is in that business of using atypical people. And that's what we're going to look at tonight. We're going to look at some atypical people. We are not going to look at myself, even though I could probably give you some really atypical stories about my life. But we're going to look at some people in the Bible who were exactly that. You talk about dysfunction, man, that is the first place to go, is go to the Bible. You want to see dysfunction. Oh my word. People killing each other.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to start. If you have your Bibles or your devices, which is not on YouTube, I want you to go to Genesis chapter 2. We're starting in the beginning. We're starting at this top because that's where it all begins. But atypical families, that's what I want you to get, can be used for others. And that's what we saw with Good News tonight. We saw people stepping up to the plate and doing some really cool things. So, coolness. So, Genesis chapter 2. So, what I thought we would do is John, Mary, Joyce, and I would go around and we'd each take a verse. And we're going to read Genesis chapter 2, Genesis chapter 3, and then Genesis chapter 4. You all down for that?
Half your people just laughed away.
Ah! Sorry about that. Did they really? I can't see. Oh, there we go. Hey, at least somebody's putting their hands up like, oh, yo, bro. So, anyways, we're going to look at Genesis chapter 2, and I'm going to summarize it for you. I would encourage you to go back and read that tonight. It's a really cool story, but man, is it weird as we get into the later chapters. But it goes like this. In chapter 2, God had just created the heavens and the earth, and he looks down on man, and he's like, the dude needs a lady. And I'm like, amen to that. Like, yeah.
Me too.
Our wives just really
They complete us.
pretty much. And probably a little bit more.
Yes.
Like, yeah. They keep our house running. They keep us running in the right direction. Usually this time of year when there's track and baseball and soccer and this,
Yep.
that, and the other, like the schedule is there. It's like, okay, we go from this to this to this. If it was just me, I'd be like, oh crap, what are we doing tonight?
I can see that.
Yeah. We've eaten a lot of ramen noodles or McDonald's, so
Yeah.
4 for 4, baby. But anyways, God creates man and woman, Adam and Eve, and he's like, I want you to have this job of just being in the garden, enjoying this perfect place I've created for you. I'm giving you one restriction. Don't eat of this one tree. Don't even mess with it. Don't touch it. Don't go near it, because I want to keep this relationship pure with us. And so Adam and Eve, they were in this garden, and I can't imagine, like I've heard scholars talk about like the beauty of this garden, and I don't think we'll ever have an idea of that until probably heaven, where we've got a new earth and a new Jerusalem and all this good stuff. But Adam's like in charge of naming all the animals. Now, my brother is a big bird advocate, and he loves going and taking pictures of birds, and I'm like, bro, you need to get some other hobbies, but it's something that he does, and he can keep doing it. But Adam was in charge of just naming the animals, which I think would be a really cool job. So I don't know where some of these names came from. And of course, since then, there have been other categories, creatures, species that have evolved, or I shouldn't say evolved, but micro-evolved from those other animals. But that was Adam's job. They had a relationship with God in the garden that was like no other. And that's what that, I guess you could say, that normal family kind of looked like. So they were there, but then they got a little hungry one day, and we go to chapter 3, and Eve's like, hey, I see that tree. And she had a little buddy kind of hanging out with her. We know him as the snake, who was like, hey, you know what? Let me tell you, this food, it's actually really good. You will like it, and then your eyes will be open, and you'll see, and you'll have knowledge like you. Of course, Eve was tempted, and she did it. She gave the fruit to Adam, and that's what we have. We have this break in this relationship, and that starts the whole mess.
Yep.
So we've experienced some messy things in our life as a married couple, and I can't imagine this. Like, yes, I talk to God on a regular basis in prayer, but I can't imagine him coming through like in here and having that conversation like, okay, where you guys at? What's the deal? But that's what happened. Adam and Eve had this perfect relationship with Jesus, or with God, and they took of the one thing he asked them not to do, and he broke that relationship. And so we have sin that entered the world, and that sin that they committed spread to everybody. It went to all of us. So then they go about, and God creates some clothing for them, because they're like, oh, stink, we have no clothes on. This is kind of weird. And God creates clothes for them, and they start having kids. And if you go to the next chapter, they have 2 boys by the name of Cain and Abel. And these 2 brothers are typical brothers. Now, I had 2 older brothers, and it was terrible. Oh, my word. Like, I think some of my inner strength comes from them, because it was...
I don't know. I have younger siblings. I don't have an older brother.
I have no compassion for you. Did you put any of that?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Well, Cain and Abel were out there. They were both instructed to sacrifice to the Lord, and God was happy with one and not with the other.
Yep.
And so there was jealousy there. And Cain rises up and kills his brother Abel. Can you imagine that in your family? I can't, because that'd blow my mind. That's kind of like a little too crazy for me. It's almost like it would be coming out of a movie or a strange TV show, which we've been seeing some weird ads for. But can you imagine being a part of this family and having this within your family? But Cain goes off because of jealousy and kills his brother. And that's the family dynamic. So we thinking, oh my word, how in the world could God use this act of what happened? So Adam and Eve are walking with God. They decide to do something foolish. They bring sin into the world. And now all bets are off. And I love remembering this, because when I'm struggling or Mary Joyce is struggling, it's good to go back to and be like, whoa, my word, there's hope.
Yep.
We haven't killed each other yet. So, but one of the things I want to point out in chapter 4 is the last verse, and it says, at that time, men began to call on the name of the Lord. And in the Amplified version, it says, in worship through prayer, praise, and thanksgiving. And I love that idea, that concept of men were seeking after God. Even when the story of somebody killing their brother is going on, men were seeking after God. And as you are a atypical family, and you might be thinking, you know what, God can't use our family, or God can't use me because I'm broken, I'm messed up, I deal with depression, anxiety, fear, all of these things, and you may disqualify yourself, but God doesn't see you that way. God says, you know what, I see something different. I see somebody I can use. So I want you to understand that even in the worst things that could happen, God still wants to use you. So that's what we're going to... Atypical families can be used for others simply because God uses atypical people. Throughout his Bible, the words that he has given to us, he uses people who don't have it all together, who aren't perfect. Now, is that a reason to say, hey, you know what? God doesn't use it, so I'm just going to screw off and mess around? No. We're still striving. We're still growing. We're still pushing ourselves on a daily basis. And we're going to look at a passage of Scripture in a minute in the book of Romans that I came across over the past couple weeks, and I've been reading through Romans, and I just love this concept of what God is doing. And it's not based on what I've done or haven't done. It's solely based on him. And I love that. So God uses atypical people. So here's what I want you to answer now. What could you or your family do to impact others around you? So what could you as a family, and if you're watching with your whole crew, your posse, I want you to think about that. Even take a minute. Okay, what could it be? I'd love to hear some of those answers on the chat, because I love seeing the interaction there. Of course, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read it, but
I can read it for you.
Yeah. Thanks. I got my own seeing eye dog or
there
something.
You go.
Like.
Well, okay. Well, thank you. I see where I belong in this relationship.
John, lead me. But yeah, what could you do? Like, have you thought about that? Like, have you guys thought about, like, any ways that you can help people?
I just think just simply going out to seeing your neighbors, talking to your neighbors. Right now, you have to maintain the social distancing, but from afar, you can talk, take a conversation, see how they're doing. I know my neighbor loves when we say hi. We go say hi, see how they're doing, and I got to talk to the Worleys the other day, so it brings some joy. That's something simple we can do.
Oh yeah, that's so simple, and that's what we've been doing. We've been taking a lot of walks, getting our steps in. And last night we were talking to the neighbors down on the corner who we hadn't talked to very much since they've moved in. And that's been really cool. Mary Joyce did this thing 2 weeks ago called, what is it, Mary Joyce? Portrait. Families are like, hey, come take our picture. So we went out 2 nights and took a bunch of pictures of them on their front porch. Some of them were hilarious. Some of them were a little weird.
I posted ours today, so it's on our Facebook page if you want to look at them.
Yeah, if you want to see some silliness.
Check out their Facebook page.
Yeah. Good Lord. One couple, it was hilarious. They've got 2 little kids, and they, the parents were tied up around a tree, and the 2 kids had their superhero costumes on. And
oh, that's awesome.
It was pretty cool. So but it was a good way, like walking through the neighborhood those 2 nights and just talking with the neighbors and hanging out with them. It was just creating that conversation and having an opportunity to just show them, a good chance to be Jesus. So it was really cool. So
I saw someone said cleaning up parks. That's pretty cool. April and I were taking a walk, and a guy, a teen, I think it's a junior, sophomore probably. We saw him walking around the park picking up trash, and just randomly, I'm like, good job, man, thanks. He's like, well, no one else is going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm like, all right, appreciate it. Makes me feel bad, but
that is awesome.
Yeah.
So yes, any Target Dayton, that's a good one. That's a classic. I love Target Dayton because it's just the best place. So they do a lot of cool things. I'm not quite sure what they're doing right now. I have seen a couple videos, but I haven't watched them. So yeah. But yeah, if you've got an elderly neighbor, I'd encourage you, reach out to them. Of course, knock on their door, step back, and talk to them. See if they need anything. Our neighbors or not my neighbors in Georgia, but my in-laws' neighbors are checking up on Mary Joyce's parents, and they're going to the store for them. So check around, look around. But anyways, God is using people to do amazing things. And who knows, we might not even understand all of this until one day we're looking back like, oh, this person knows Jesus because of this good act. So I'd encourage you to remember that. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all together. You just have to be faithful, available, maybe a little teachable too. But reach out. Look for those people. So yes, keep those brainstorming ideas going, but you can have an impact on the people around you. You don't have to be like some superhero doctor or something, although they are doing a great job.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, way to go. But you can do little things that can help. And as families, even in our messed up familyness, we can do some really cool things. But I want to take you to Romans chapter 5, and this is what I read. I love this because I've actually been going back through this and rereading it, just trying to understand it. But it starts off in verse 17, and it says, "For if by the trespass of one," we're going back to Adam, Genesis 2, dude done messed up by eating of the fruit and breaking that relationship with God, "death reigned through the one. Much more surely will those who receive the abundance of grace and the free gift of righteousness reign in life through one, Jesus Christ." So just as one man brought sin in, there's another one. But we're going to keep going. Romans 5:18. "So then, as through one trespass, Adam's sin, there resulted condemnation." Basically, y'all are being punished for this one guy's action because we're all a part of it. We're all human. We all took part. And I've thought about this a few times over my life. You know what? What if Adam hadn't sinned? Would I? I probably would have. I would have messed up.
Someone would have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Plenty of chances.
Yeah, as much history as we're at, oh my word. Yeah. But I've thought about that. It doesn't matter. It's simply that the relationship was broken, and we're the result of that. So we're all being punished for it. But even so, through one act of righteousness, there resulted justification of life to all men. And I want to explain this. Through one act of righteousness means one act of courage where you take a perfect, spotless lamb and they became the sacrifice which resulted in your punishment being removed. So Jesus dying on the cross meant you're free. So you can be atypical and it's okay. You can be weird, it's okay. I actually condone weirdness because I think it lightens people up at times.
Oh yeah.
So anyways, I'm going to keep reading. Romans 5:19 says, "For just as through one man's disobedience," yeah, he done messed up, "his failure to hear, his carelessness, and taking care of the fruit of the garden and that tree that he took from, the many were made sinners." That's all of us. "So through the obedience of one man, the many will be made righteous and acceptable to God, brought into right standing with him." That's what it's all about. You see, we're all a part of this plagued human society, whether it's coronavirus or just selfishness. We're all a part of that. And that's one of the cool things is we've got somebody who's kind of taken the blame for us. When, yeah, we should have been punished for it, but he took the punishment. And that Jesus wants to use you in different ways. And that's why I wanted you to think about different ways that you can impact people around you, simply because there's people around you who could need it. So that's just what I wanted to encourage you guys with tonight. Romans 5, read through those chapters, and honestly, you could take it verse by verse and be like, oh my word, he just said this, and this means, and break it down, write it down. I'd encourage you to get a journal and write through that and say, okay, God, give me wisdom, because I need help understanding this. But ultimately, God uses atypical families and atypical people for others because God has done that same thing in us. So he uses us to bless others and our weirdness and our struggles. And I'd encourage you, if you're struggling with something this evening, talk to somebody about it. Get a hold of somebody. Call your small group leader. Even take the courage and talk to mom and dad. Say, Mom, I need to talk. Can we talk about this in a safe environment? We're here for you. We don't love doing this as much as we love having student ministry here and 75 students out in the gym. I'd much rather have that. But I do want you to know that we're here for you in any way we can. So be encouraged and go back to some of these good news things that we shared with you and think about, what can I do? That's what I want to tell you tonight, guys. God uses atypical people because we're all weird and we're all messed up. But thanks be to Jesus, he done claimed the punishment for us. So now we're free to be his ambassadors to do really cool things. So anything you want to say? I think, we shouldn't do anything else probably, right? Yeah. We don't need any
I miss you guys. I miss everybody.
Oh, my word. Yes.
We need to have a party whenever we can.
Well, I'm working on that. I already
Yeah.
talked to the food ladies. Of course,
Okay.
y'all input some of your food ideas, but that's probably going to be like our December Christmas party by the time we get around to it. I'm
Yeah.
just joking.
Long way to go.
We are thinking through some small group activities as things continue to loosen up a little bit. Thank you, Governor, at some point in July. Anyways, keep praying for each other. Students, I'd encourage you, if you want to reach out to some other students this week, shoot me a text or have your parents shoot me a text or send me an email or a smoke signal, and I would love to send out names to you to encourage this week. And we're just going to create a network of students who reach out to other students, not for anything of our own, but just let's encourage people.
Yep.
Let's lift each other up and let's pray for one another. So, yeah, that's the goal. So
Definitely.
I guess we should do a prize winner for the scavenger
Ooh,
hunt.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who won the scavenger hunt?
Well, I've got my
That's a
hand
lot
in
of
the-
names in the hat.
Oh, I know.
That's a lot of names.
So, John, why don't I have you pick the
Okay.
name, the family, who is going to get this awesome prize pack? Dun, 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 dun.
Dun.
Who is it? Who is it?
Ooh, one of my favorite people
In the whole world?
in the
April?
whole world. Yeah. Other than that,
Oh, okay.
so this prize goes to the Fall.
The Fall!
Woo!
We will be dropping off a wonderful prize pack for your whole family to enjoy in the next day or two. So be looking for that DoorDash, because I'm going to put it on your front step, ring your doorbell, or knock really hard. I will try not to do it while y'all are asleep, even though that would be funny. And you'll be seeing that in the next couple days. So good job, Falls. Awesome pictures. And I just want to thank everybody who did that. That was a lot of fun. I love seeing you guys' pictures. If you, as a person, come up with an idea, I would love to implement that too. So be thinking about some of those things. Like, what could be our next...
Please reach out to me. I'm more than willing to teach you guys something or implement whatever you guys want to do.
I've got some ideas in the hopper.
There you go.
So, but I would love students to hear your ideas as well. That would be sweetness.
Yep.
So, well, we are signing off. Thanks for another great week. We're praying for you. If there's anything we can do, just let us know. We're here for you. Have a great night.
See ya.
Yeah, so undeserving, and yet we worship, giving all the praise. Just humble servants, till sweat and tears, till no more fears. Singing the glory of the gospel out to every ear. This life that reside in my tongue you took for your name to become a tool for your will to be done is crazy. See me as a son when I should be shunned. Worth nothing, Lord, I'm just dust, but you covered me by your blood, yeah. You covered me with grace, and a love so unconditional, it's got me on my face every day, yeah. Be the praise of the saints, yeah. Goes my praise every day, My God is stronger than any sin that I hold. More precious than any silver and gold. Yeah. Told myself that my sin made me unworthy, but truth is I'll never be perfect. But Christ took the burden, took the lust of my eyes, the pride of my heart, aches and all the flaws. Nailed them to the cross, threw them to the ocean. Showed me I was chosen. Shifted all my focus till my eyes became open. Tossed out my doubts. Showed me my way out. See, I once was lost. Now your boy been found. See, true grace abounds, and glory be to God. It ain't no looking back like a pillar of that salt. Me, I give my all, despite my downfalls. Where many see me fail, only you see me prevail. The bigger depression hits, the louder my praise gets. The bigger depression hits, the louder my praise gets. Come on.
When I lift my voice, heaven comes to earth. When I sing this song, I